In the Nation of Islam, our thinking is also changing. So when you come in here, that's why we give you the greetings of Assalamu Alaikum in our original language of Arabic. Right. See, we're changing your thinking and the way that we do things in our life. See, me personally, I have to check myself sometimes. When I'm in the streets and I'm talking with my partners and I start using that slang, and in my mind, that second self of God talks to me and says, brother, you're supposed to be an example. Right. So I clean it up real quick, like, I got to get this right here. Because I'm teaching a nation and I'm helping the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan bring the people to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad so he can present them for God.
That's right.
So at this time, I want to bring before you our brother in the state of Colorado, the representative in this region, Student Minister Herman Muhammad.
Let's keep it going for Brother David. Praise be to Allah. Let us first start by saying, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah. I bear witness that Muhammad is his messenger. As students of religion, as citizens of this wonderful planet that we call Earth, we are thankful to Allah for all of his prophets, all of his servants, all of the messages that they brought. We're thankful to God that his pattern is always the same. Right. And that pattern is whenever a people stray, whenever a people fall from God's way, he always raises up a messenger. He always raises up a prophet. He always raises up a great one and puts a message in their ear and in their mouth for that people. So when the children of Israel or the Israelites went off course, he raised up Abraham. And he raised up Moses. And he gave them the Torah or the Old Testament. When the people of Palestine and Egypt went off course 2,000 years ago, he raised up Jesus. He raised up his disciples and he gave them the Injil, the New Testament. When the people of the Arabian Peninsula went off course and were practicing infanticide, where they were killing their baby girls, he raised up Prophet Muhammad ibn Abdullah of 1400 years ago and gave him the divine revelation of the Holy Quran. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon each and every one of these worthy servants of his. But as students of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, we can never give thanks to Allah enough for, again, keeping that pattern right and exact.
That's right.
Because we as a people have went off course. In fact, we were taken off course.
Come on. Right.
We were taken off course by a very wicked enemy. Taken off course by Satan himself.
Yes, sir.
And God, being Al-Rahim, the most merciful of those who have mercy, he didn't just raise one. Nah. Instead, he fulfilled the scripture and came himself.
Come on.
For he said that in that last day that he would come himself and restore that people that were lost. He came in the divine person of Master Fard Muhammad and began teaching and training our people all about themselves. But for those of us who missed him, he left one in our midst from among ourselves. a Georgia-born black man who only went to the 3rd or the 4th grade of school. It really don't matter. But he became the most powerful black man besides God himself who's ever walked among us.
That's right.
He is, now we know him, we knew him as the messenger, but he's so much more than a messenger. He is the exalted Christ who sits at the right hand of God as we speak.
That's right. Come on.
In power, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. But for those of us who missed him, man, we're so thankful that Allah, again, being so merciful, he left one to remind us that God is present and in the world. To remind us of what it is to be a man. To remind us of what it is to be a true servant of Allah, servant of God, working for the salvation of his people. And that one I'm attempting to represent to you today, he is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And in their names, we greet you in the greeting words of peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
How's everyone?
Fine, sir.
Everybody good?
Yes,
Praise
sir.
be to Allah. Praise be to Allah. Listen, we are, man, I'm always so happy to see each and every one of you and so thankful to Allah that you would come and spend time out of your precious schedule with us to fellowship and learn of the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. We, of course, want to state our intention. Of course, we're not here to make mockery nor to entertain. Although we might be a little entertaining, hopefully.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? We're going to have some fun when we share the truth. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
But we're here to educate, to enlighten, to edify, to inspire, to give you something to think about, to give you something that you can use. And if we're unsuccessful, and you know I'm tripping all over my words, and the message is off base, then all that blame belongs to me. However, if we do give you anything that you can use, anything that you can use when you leave here, then all praise belongs to Allah.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Now, the subject matter, brothers and sisters, is taken from the latest edition of the Final Call newspaper entitled The Joshua Generation.
Yes, sir.
The Joshua Generation. And I would encourage each and every one of us to get the latest edition of the Final Call newspaper. It is in the back. And of course, the Final Call newspaper is the most widely read, circulated, black-owned and operated publication in the world. Not just in this country, but in the world.
Yes, sir.
And it also serves as the communication organ for the Nation of Islam. So definitely pick up the latest edition of the Final Call. Now, the basis of this lecture is going to be a statement from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan with regards to the Joshua generation. And we're gonna let you know exactly what that is, as not to be confused, right? But here's the statement. The minister said, "You, our young people, are the most powerful generation that we have ever produced since our fathers were brought to these shores as slaves.
Yes, sir.
You are greatly misunderstood, not only by our elders, but oftentimes by your parents. We produced this generation,
Yes,
and
sir.
we cannot deny what we have produced.
Yes, sir.
They are different from us. They are not hope.
Go.
They
Come
are
on.
fulfillment.
Woo.
But when the thing that is hoped for comes along, sometimes we're not prepared for what we hope for." Now, that's the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, right?
Yes, sir.
And he's been talking about this Joshua generation for quite some time, as long as I've been in the nation.
Yes.
In fact, if I'm correct, and I believe I'm correct, he's the one who coined the term.
Yes, sir.
Joshua generation.
That's right. Come on.
Yes, sir.
Now, when we talk about the term Joshua generation, it's named for the biblical prophet sent by Moses to spy out the land that God promised and who eventually led to the people of Israel in the promised land of Canaan. Right?
Yes, sir.
So,
Yes, sir.
let's clear some things up. The Bible, as we know it, that's the scripture that all of us are familiar with. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that the Bible is about you and me, from cover
To go.
to cover,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
from Genesis to Revelation.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes.
From the time the serpent comes into the picture, all the way to the end where the dragon
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
is doing his thing.
Come on.
That scripture is about you and me.
Yes, sir.
So Moses and Aaron and all of those biblical prophets, all of those Israelite prophets, Joshua, who's another one, are all about not some historical people. Because he teaches us that the scripture, especially Bible, is only 25% history.
Yes, sir.
That is 75% prophecy.
Yes, sir.
And so it's up to those great ones in the prophetic time to fulfill the prophecy.
Come
Yes,
on.
sir.
In fact, you cannot find in history certain aspects of scripture. I'm gonna give you an example.
Come on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
In the Bible, we're taught that in the last days, the descendants of Abraham, that God would come and he would save those people. But these people were in bondage to a strange people for 400 years.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And so the Jews over in Israel, the Johnny come lately wannabe Jews,
Come on, teach.
That's right. Jewish.
right? The Jewish people, they would say that that's them.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
That the people of Egypt who had a Pharaoh had their people in bondage for 400 years, and so the promise of God belongs to them. So even to this very hour, they refer to themselves as God's chosen people.
Right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But we know and understand that the Egyptians, our people,
Go ahead.
have tens and thousands of years of recorded
Come on.
history.
Come on, teach
Facts.
that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
Tens
sir.
and thousands.
Yes, sir.
And they don't have no record of no so-called Jewish people
Yes, sir.
ever being held in bondage for any amount of time.
Come on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So if that is the case, and that is, then that prophecy needs to be fulfilled.
Yes, sir. Still not fulfilled yet. Yes, sir.
And so the only people who've ever been in bondage for 400 years
Yes, sir.
is you and I.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Facts, brother.
We're the only
Only.
soul. That means only.
Only.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead, brother. Minister.
We're the only people who've ever been in bondage for that period of time.
That's right.
The enemy would say, Brother Ansar just showed me a flyer, the sister who wrote a book, the 1619 Project, where you have a display in Washington, D.C. right now,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
where they're chronicling 400 years of our black people here in the hills of North America
Yes, sir.
being in bondage for 400 years.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's 400 years.
Yes, sir.
403 to be exact, according to their records.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, we didn't come to America in 1619.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No, the first records of our coming to America as slaves was 1555.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
We came on a ship called, listen to the name of this ship, Jesus
Yes, sir.
of Lubeck. Right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That was the first record. So 1955 marked the year
400 years.
in which we have been in bondage for 400 years.
Right,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's a very critical year too, because something very important happened in 1955.
Come on.
Come on.
Something very important happened.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
In walked a musician
Yes, sir.
named Lewis Walcott into his first Savings Day convention in 1955, February, and stood up and accepted the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
Now, that is significant because this man, Louis Farrakhan, is the Joshua that we're talking about in this subject.
Come on.
Yes, sir.
He is the Joshua that we're talking about in the scripture.
Make it plain.
Now, we're going to prove this now. Y'all all right?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
All praises due to Allah. So, back to it. Back to this generation. And then we're going to get to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Greatly understood, misunderstood. Not only by our elders, but oftentimes by our parents. And how many times, brothers and sisters, parents in here, have we had this conversation like, oh, Lord, I don't know what we going to do when we get old. These are the people that's supposed to take care of us. But the reality is, like the minister points out, they are not hope. They are fulfillment.
Yes, sir.
The whole thing about this Joshua generation is in fulfillment of the scripture. When Moses comes, he and his brother named Aaron, who's also a picture of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Moses being the most honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Come on.
Without a doubt.
Yes, sir.
I just gotta say it straight. We don't have a whole lot of time to mince words.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You better tell
But when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad came and began teaching, he didn't go to the government and say, give me the right to vote.
Come on.
We want jobs right now.
No, it didn't say
Jobs
that.
and justice.
Integrate us with white folks.
Lord have
Yes,
mercy.
sir.
No. He, just like the Moses of the scripture, went to Pharaoh or the president and said, let my people go.
Come on.
What he said.
That's his message.
Let's go.
Let my people go. We got to
Go.
separate from these people.
That's right.
How?
Every single way.
Yes,
Facts.
sir.
Facts. Mental more.
Come on.
Oh.
So here we are. Moses saying, or the Honorable Elijah Muhammad saying, let my people go. His minister Aaron saying, let my people go, echoing the message of his mentor, of his teacher, right?
Yes, sir.
But some of us, we don't want to let go.
Come on.
I do.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Some of us,
Go ahead, Aki.
some of us, we don't want to let go, man. Look,
Let's
hey,
go.
man, we got to make sure that Biden gets in,
Lord have mercy.
Come on.
That's all.
or some other demon crap politician. We got to make sure we can't let Trump get back in there.
That's all.
Well, who gives a damn?
Yes,
That's
sir.
right.
I
That's
think
right.
we all
Say
are.
it again.
Yes.
That should be our attitude because we don't want to be part of this government.
Yes,
Come on,
sir.
that's
Yes, sir.
right,
Talk
that's
about
right.
it, brother.
Let my people
Go.
go.
Sir, come on. Let's go.
But what happened during this history is that there were so many people who wanted to hang on They didn't think that they could live without Pharaoh.
That's right.
Come on, Cora.
That's what we do. Yeah.
They was mumbling, man. They was mumbling against Moses.
Moses, yes sir, yes sir. 40 years on your.
They was mumbling like, man, what's going to happen? How we gonna eat? What about my job?
Come on.
Same thing they're doing now.
What about Susie and Tom?
Oh, those are good white people.
Susie and Tom.
Come on, brother.
They're good white people.
Push 'em. Talk about revelations.
They didn't want to let go.
Yes, sir.
So Moses sent out Joshua to spy out the land, because the ones who wanted to stay with Pharaoh, man, we're going to let them wander in the wilderness
Come on.
40 years.
and die.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Right.
And just think about wandering for 40 years,
You don't want
right?
that sentence.
Wandering just aimlessly. You don't have no goal. You ain't going
You
nowhere.
ain't doing nothing.
And that's what you're doing if you're hanging on to this system. That's what you're doing if you're hanging on to Biden
Yes, sir.
and Trump and whomever. You're just wandering.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because they never going to do nothing for black people.
That's right.
They never
That's a
have.
fact.
Yes, sir.
Never will.
Go ahead.
Come on.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Right.
So, Moses sends Joshua. Now, Joshua is a very interesting fella. And like I said, this book is all about you and I, you and
Yes,
me.
sir. Yes, sir.
So, when Moses sends Joshua, he spies out the land, and what makes the people afraid, some of them, is that Joshua comes back and he reports that there's some giants out there.
Come on.
Yes, sir.
So they was really scared to death so now what we gonna do if we leave Massa, and on top of that, there's some giants out there?
Those would be.
And think about it now. So the Honorable Ava Muhammad sends out the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and he's fighting against giants.
That's right. He's a
When you
fact,
speak against the most powerful government that has ever been in the past 6,000 years,
Yes.
that is like you fighting a giant.
That's
Facts,
right.
Facts, brother.
Come on.
And he don't have no weapons.
No, sir.
The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, he got an army now.
Yes, sir.
No
That's
trick.
right.
That's right. Come on.
He don't carry the carnal weapons of this world. Is that right?
That's right.
But he's fighting anyway.
Yes, sir.
Come on.
Oh man. And along the way, he's inspiring the youth.
Yes, sir.
So even though we think that our babies aren't listening to us, they belong to Farrakhan.
Come on.
That's right. Come on.
Yes, sir.
Man, think this over now.
Mm.
Even those of us who were raised in the nation and been in the nation for a very long time, and we have children, and our children may or may not come to the mosque. They may or may not participate, but they got Farrakhan all up in them.
That's right. That's right.
Yes, sir.
Think that over now. That's real. Give a hand clap for that. Praise be to
That's
Allah. Praise be to Allah.
Definitely.
So, how is Joshua Farrakhan, and how is Farrakhan Joshua, and him being recruited by Moses, or Farrakhan and him being recruited by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad? Is Joshua was a fearless warrior. He was actually a captain. So when he spied out the land, they were called the giants were called, oh, I got the name here. The Amalekites. Amalekits. Amalekites. They were giants. And so Muhammad, or the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, or Moses,
Same name.
enlisted Joshua, or Farrakhan,
Yes, sir.
because Farrakhan was a fearless warrior who was also a captain.
Yeah,
Come on,
that's true.
teach.
Before he was a minister.
Did y'all know that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was a captain before he was a minister?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh man, y'all doing all right?
Yes, sir.
All praise be to Allah. So the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has been a fierce defender of our people against the giants.
Yes, sir. Facts.
The Amalekites, the Americans, ever since he's been a follower of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
These is truth. These are truth.
This is just the truth.
1960.
Even those who have stood up against the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, he has defended them.
That's true. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I want y'all to think this over now. Like really consider this, man. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has the most powerful enemies in this world.
These is facts.
But he also has Negro imps and peons who are his enemies. Did y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. He got so-called American Negroes who are his enemies, who are in so-called leadership positions. But the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan always, even though they're his enemy,
Yes, sir.
defends them. You know, just an example. When Jesse Jackson ran for president,
Yes, sir.
bless his heart, and not, especially in 1984, the first time he ran, Minister Farrakhan, because Jesse he did not garner enough of the electorate to warrant Secret Service protection.
Yes, sir.
The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan brought his soldiers, the mighty FOI, around Jesse to protect him because Jesse was receiving more death threats than any candidate had ever received in history.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's something.
So not only did the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan defend Jesse in that respect, but when Jesse got in trouble,
Yes, sir.
and he got in trouble for calling New York City
Jews.
Town,
Town.
which is a derogatory name for Jewish people, the Jews came against him.
Yep. Full force.
Full force.
Yes, sir.
And when they come against you, man,
Lord have mercy.
you usually don't survive.
No, sir.
And what they did was they gave Messy Jesse the Farrakhan litmus test.
Yes, they did. One of the first ones. Yes, sir.
Do y'all know what the Farrakhan litmus test is?
Gave it to
The
Obama.
Farrakhan litmus test is one of those things to where if you're in leadership, they want to know where you stand. So the first thing they ask you is, what do you think about Farrakhan?
Great name.
Allah's listening.
And depending upon your answer will determine the way that they treat you from here on out.
Yep.
But Jesse,
Messy Jesse.
because he wanted to win so bad, which he wasn't never going to win anyway,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Those are facts.
he threw the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan under the bus.
Yes, he did.
He denounced him. He gave Negro credibility to the notion that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was an anti-Semite.
My God.
Even though it was the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan alone who defended Jesse.
Yes,
That's
sir.
right. Defended him fiercely.
He threw him under the bus.
That's right.
Now, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, despite being thrown under the bus by Negro leadership, including Messy Jesse Jackson, never denounced him.
Beautiful brother.
Never said anything wrong about the brother.
And he could have.
Defended him time and time again.
To this day.
There was another one who used to be the leader of the National Baptist Convention, which is one of the largest and most powerful Christian organizations in the country.
Yes, sir.
His name was Henry Lyons. I'll never forget this. He was another one who just straight up dissed the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Yes, sir.
Just straight dissed him. during the Million Man March. He's an anti-Semite, this and that and the third, and blah, 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 blah. Just cooning for no reason.
That's the word, brother. That's the word.
Straight up cooning.
Yes, sir.
But, Reverend Lyons ends up getting in trouble, getting locked up.
Locked up.
Got locked up.
8 years.
Y'all remember? I remember this way.
And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan not only protected him in the public, but he put brothers around him. A lot of people don't know this.
Yeah, he did.
In prison to protect him.
Wow.
Yes,
Wow.
Are y'all hearing me?
Yes, sir.
I didn't know
A
this.
fierce defender of our people.
Yes.
Yes, fierce.
No matter what they do.
Man.
Man, that's beautiful, brother.
So he was a captain, right? That's the captain in it.
Yes.
Captain responsible for security. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
That's right.
All praises due to Allah. So the other thing that happened with Moses and Joshua is that he gave Joshua a very unique name.
Yeah, beautiful name.
A very unique name. A beautiful name that no one else had. He gave him
That's a powerful name.
the unique name O'Shea, the son of Nun. I want to stop there for a second. Very little is written of Joshua's father. Very little was known about him, right? But when we look at the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, very little was known of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's father.
That's right.
That's right.
Yes,
Come
sir.
on.
He knows who he is, but he's never met him.
Yes, sir. Ain't that something?
O'Shea, the son of Nun, Jehoshua, which means, listen to this, the Lord is salvation.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That's the name that he gave Joshua before he went to go battle the giants and spy out the land. Or it means the salvation of the Lord. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave Louis a unique name as well, Farrakhan. Or Al-Furqan, which means in the Holy Quran, the discrimination.
Right.
Or one who discriminates truth from falsehood. And when he got this name, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan tells the story that he was a little disappointed. Because he wanted the name Muhammad. You know, if your father, your teacher named Muhammad, man, I want your name. I want Muhammad. But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, nah,
You got
I got a lot of Muhammads.
only one.
I got a lot of Ali's. I got a lot of Shabazes. But I only got one Farrakhan.
That's right.
But when he went to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad asking him what did it mean, because no one knew what it meant, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, and the minister tells the story, he said, I have the meaning upstairs. Did y'all see what I did? I have the meaning upstairs.
Yes, sir.
But it's one of the modern, up-to-date names for God.
Teach. Up to date. That's where we gotta be, man. We gotta be up to date.
Man,
Yes, sir. Beautiful.
Yeah.
this man Farrakhan, he is the Joshua. He is the leader of this fearless generation. And let me say something about the Joshua generation. Because it's not about how old you are. Did y'all hear me?
Come on.
It's not about how old you are. Because the minister made this quote in the 90s. That first quote I showed you all?
Yes, sir.
In the 90s.
Early 90s.
So, I'm part of the Joshua generation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You, if you are about separation and not wanting to integrate with your enemy,
Come on.
you part of the Joshua generation. No matter how old you are, it's about how old you think.
Come on. That's right.
Come on.
Come on.
Go ahead, brother. Take that.
If you belong to Farrakhan, you part of the Joshua generation.
That's
Yes,
right.
sir.
Man, y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
Look, this Joshua generation has a very unique way of communicating. Usually the youth, you can tell the way that the youth are thinking based upon what they're doing culturally, based upon the music that they listen to,
That's right.
based upon the dances that they perform, based upon the clothing that they wear. All of these are indicators as to how we think. Right?
Yes, sir.
So, this latest edition of not this latest edition, the last week's edition, which you should get also, let me show you this one.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Defenders of the culture. Now it has our sister Neelam, Brother Danik, Mumu Fresh, Golden Child, Chuck D, Chance the Rapper, Kendrick Lamar. All of these are conscious hip-hop artists.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I remember coming into the, when I came into the nation, man, it was all about Public Enemy.
Yes,
That's
sir.
right.
Yes, sir.
Come on.
Yes, sir.
It takes a nation of millions to hold us back.
Yes, sir.
Right? It was all about Poor Righteous Teachers,
Yes,
and
sir.
Brand Nubian,
Yes,
and
sir.
all of
Glory
these
to it.
hip hop artists who had Islam
And delicious.
in their message.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And that's what partly woke me up, because I'm like, man,
Me too, brother.
Farrakhan used to, Chuck D sung a line or rapped a line, Farrakhan's a prophet who I think you ought to listen
Listen
to.
to, yes.
But then you can say to you, what you ought to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now. But that was peeping our conscience, man,
Consciousness.
waking us up, bringing us to Joshua. Man, making us a part of that generation. And so Neelam and Golden Child and Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole and a lot of these other Common, all these brothers and sisters got Islam all in their message.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Busta Rhymes with the extension level event.
Yes,
they got
sir.
Minister Farrakhan just rapping over a track.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Because even though he's damn near 90, he's Joshua.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir. Yes,
That's
sir.
right.
That's the new thinking.
So, hip-hop, which means what? Does anyone know what hip-hop means? Brother Mordecai, what's hip-hop mean?
High infinite power helping oppress people.
All right, I like that one. I like that one. I like that one.
High infinite power helping oppress people.
All praises due to Allah. I love that. I love that. Does anyone know when hip-hop originated?
1970s.
Brother Christopher.
1977, New Jersey.
Close.
Now, if you want to go to Poor Righteous,
I tell you what Mr. Google says.
okay.
But hip hop, I like that initialism, brother Mordecai. But hip hop means literally conscious movement,
Yes, sir. Hip movement. Yes, sir.
right? Because hip means that you conscious. You
Yes,
know what's
sir.
going on.
Mhm.
Hop,
Movement.
it's just a movement, right? So hip hop is conscious movement. It was born,
Come on, brother.
according to Mr. Google. Let's see here.
Brother Keith said he knows.
Say it, brother Keith.
Oh, yeah.
People don't ain't give it cool her hands with flowers no more.
Out there was James Brown. He was the first one to start actually rapping.
Okay, but you know, that was something else. He's definitely, you know what I'm saying, the godfather in terms of
Yes, sir.
they sampling
That
James
is
Brown,
true,
no,
right
no doubt about
Yeah,
it.
that is
But who
very
invented hip hop? The birth of hip hop is believed to date back to August 11, 1973. Where DJ Kool Herc, real name Clive Campbell, and his friend hosted a back-to-school party in the Bronx, New York. 18-year-old Campbell and his friend, Coke La Rock, are often referred to as the fathers of hip-hop. Right? So it dates back to 1973. The first banging hip-hop track came out in 1977 with the hip, a hip it to the hip it to the hip hop. You don't stop right the bang. You know, everybody know that joint. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
But that's when hip-hop conscious movement started, right? But what if I was to tell you that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan or Joshua, even though they sample his voice all the time, what if I was to tell you that this Joshua is the real inspiration behind hip hop itself? What if I was to, you'd be like, prove that, brother.
I'm
Now
listening.
you talking crazy. You just talking slick.
Come on.
I know y'all love Farrakhan, but y'all just taking it too far.
1970s.
Talk about it.
Man, this Joshua, man, he was sent to, and I'm talking about Farrakhan, he was sent to New York. And does anyone know when the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan became the Minister of New York? In 1967. 1967, he was sent to the city of New York. He was the minister in Boston and made the Boston Mosque one of the most productive mosques in the nation. And he was sent to New York and named as the national representative of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, replacing Malcolm X, who was assassinated in 1965, right?
Yes, sir.
That's the history. So in 1967, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was sent to New York. This Joshua, this modern Joshua, this fulfillment of Joshua, under his leadership in New York, they had over 18 mosques and study groups.
Yes, sir. Unprecedented, brother. Yes, sir.
They had $1 million building as their mosque. Did y'all hear what year I said this was?
67.
1967. Do y'all know what $1 million was in 1967? I wasn't
million
born then, but
Like
it's
3 million.
crazy. I know in the 70s, they y'all remember they had a show called The $6 Million Man.
Yes, sir.
Steve Austin, the Bionic Man.
Yes, sir.
And at that time, when they talked about $6 million, and brother could bear me witness, $6 million was an unheard of amount of money.
Wow.
$6 million?
Wow.
Like what?
Wow.
But the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, besides Chicago, in New York, he led the most productive mosque in the whole nation of Islam.
Yes, he did.
And he did that up until the fall of the nation.
Yes, he did.
The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was so popular that he would, he would just go out into the streets and be mobbed by the youth. Right?
Yes,
He
sir.
spoke at Randall's Island and there was 20,000 people. I mean, there's so many different stories of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and his work in New York that are legendary in the nation of
Yes,
Islam.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But he made a lecture, he made a speech in 1971 that was called A Message to the East in Brooklyn, New York.
Write that down.
Are y'all listening?
Yes, sir.
Let me show you what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said. And I found this, I was reading this book 7 Speeches
Uh-oh.
by Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, brother. And in it, this is what we found. This is what we're saying. If the black man must create a new music, brother. No more blues.
Uh-oh.
Black men don't sing blues no more.
Nah.
Listen to what we're saying. No, black men don't play jazz, not that stuff that comes out of your slave day.
Go ahead.
If you are a free man, then speak to the free idiom. Make your poetry that speaks to the new. Make your art and your drama that of the new.
Yes.
Then you are creating a new thing that the world must come up to. Then you're the original man again. And the original man does not copy.
That's right.
The original man originates for others to copy.
That's right.
Now this is in 1971.
That's beautiful.
1971.
Brooklyn.
1971
Brooklyn.
in New York.
A lot of people say hip hop come from Brooklyn too.
Now, look what he said though. Look at that. He said, I want you to pay attention, man. He wanted us, he was inspiring the youth to create a new music.
Yes, sir. Beautiful, brother.
You know, don't sing the blues.
You should have been singing a long time.
We've been singing the blues for 40 years.
Lord have mercy.
Don't sing anything that comes out of your slavery existence or your slave day. If you're a free man, speak to the free idiom. Make your poetry. Isn't that what rap is?
Facts, brother.
That's right.
Facts, brother.
Make your poetry that speaks to the new. Make your art and your drama that of the new. Then you are creating a new thing that the world must come up to.
Beautiful, brother.
Y'all know my wife reminds me of this all the time. Who the best-selling hip-hop artist of all time is?
Tupac.
Nope.
Eminem.
Eminem.
Oh, he beat Tupac recently.
Eminem. The white boy smashing.
That's right. Complicated.
But look, right. That's exactly right, brother. Just like Elvis, you know what I'm saying? They always do what we do, and it just takes off.
Yes, sir. Facts.
But look, he said,
Make
yours, and then they're gonna catch up to it. Make your art and the drama of the new. Then you're creating a new thing that the world must come up to. Man, this man, Farrakhan, is your Joshua.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Beautiful, brother.
All praises to Allah. All praises to Allah. Praise be to Allah. So, he preceded hip-hop. He inspired those young brothers in Brooklyn and the Bronx,
That's right.
and all them 5 boroughs,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
to come up with this culture. And further on in a little bit previous to that, he talks about creating an entire new culture. In this book, 7 Speeches.
Wow.
And when you look at it, isn't that the language that they use to describe hip-hop now?
Yes, sir.
It's the culture.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Who contributed to the culture. No one has contributed to the culture more than the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Yes, sir.
And that's why he has the youth.
Facts.
That's why they love him. Even though they might not come to the mosque, they still love the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
That's right. We're right.
No doubt about it. Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
All praises due to Allah. Man, beautiful man. And I wanna pivot because I'm just about out of time. But I thank you all for being so very, very, very attentive. And I wanted to just take a moment because we lost a beautiful servant of Allah.
Facts.
Yes, sir.
The national spokesperson for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Really, one of my favorite ministers in the nation.
Me too, sir. Me too.
Yes, sir.
Sister Ava Muhammad. read the letter. Praise Allah. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, Muhammad is His messenger. O you who believe, seek assistance through patience and prayer. Surely Allah is with the patient. And speak not of those who are slain in Allah's way as dead. Nay, they are alive, but you perceive not. Right? Assalamu alaikum, dear believers. We regret to inform you of the passing of our sister, student minister, Ava Muhammad, the national spokesperson to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam. Her passing was very sudden, and we are greatly pained over our loss. We will inform you of the time and place of her janazah. May Allah's peace be with the family and the believers, your brother and servant, our brother Ishmael R. Muhammad, on behalf of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Executive Shura Council of the Nation of Islam. So we lost a wonderful
Giant, brother.
warrior and giant, and really she's indicative of the Joshua generation.
Facts, facts.
Right.
Fierce fighter.
Facts, facts.
On behalf of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Man, I mean, a life well lived, brothers and sisters.
Facts,
and
facts.
and this is the type of person that you want to be. This is the way you want to live your life.
Come on, yes,
Facts,
right.
facts.
You want to live your life like a Muslim and die as a Muslim. Sister Ava Muhammad, right? I mean, her contribution can't be measured.
Okay, that's right.
She, in large part, wrote all the introductions to all the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's study guides. She led the course of study. She wrote the guide to the ministry in the Nation of Islam. I mean, she was the first female head of a mosque. In fact, she's the first female head of an entire region.
Yeah.
I mean, just a powerful. She's an attorney. She sued the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's enemies for $4.4 billion.
I never know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Just a fierce defender, man, of our people. So may Allah be pleased with our beautiful sister, Sister Ava.
Beat cancer, brother.
Yeah, man, beat cancer. When she came to the minister in 1981, she had cancer.
Yes, sir.
And was able to fight and beat it. And, you know what I'm saying? And sister, beautiful sister. And you look at her and she's just so young. And I was shocked. And I've been in the nation for over 30 years. To find out she was 71 years old, man.
Wow.
So,
I didn't know that.
yeah, I'm like,
Wow.
but praise be to Allah. May Allah be pleased.
I did not know that.
But today, family presents a tremendous opportunity for us to join on with the Joshua of this generation, who is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So, I hope and pray. Yes. I hope and pray that you got something out of what we said today. I hope that you learned something. That's always our goal. We always want to give you something that you could learn, something that you didn't know, something that you could use in your life. It's your brother Herman Supreme Style Muhammad. Just wanted to drop in and let you know what we have going on. In addition to our community work that we've been doing for years, and in addition to being the sole proprietor of Supreme Style Barbershop, where we've been serving the community for close to 25 years, now we've partnered up with an insurance company called Ethos in an effort to help our people with life insurance. That's something that we all need. I know it's something that we don't want to think about, but it is something that we all need if we want to leave anything to our loved ones when we leave this space. So do me a favor, click on the link or go to our website, astar2.com, and click on the Ethos page. We'll see you on the other side.